everybody. Welcome today to my live. Oh my gosh, it's been such a crazy morning. I'm a few minutes late coming in today, so I apologize. I was missing some of the ingredients that I wanted to show you today. So I ran to the store, and then of course traffic was crazy, and then I was putting it all together, and I was thinking, well, I can be chopping while I talk to you. So let me just wash my hands again. And super love infused water. It is so much fun to add flavors to our water so that we drink more, so we want to hydrate more. I'll tell you what, when before I started nourishing my life and making good habits, I actually hated drinking water. I hated the taste of water. I hated drinking it, and I didn't want to do it at all. And so I was chronically dehydrated. And it wasn't until I started adding things to my water that I realized, hey, this is really good. And it taught me to drink more water. And then I realized all the benefits I was getting from drinking more water. And so now I love infusing my water with all kinds of flavor. So let's make some infused water. If you're new to my page, welcome. I'm super happy to have you here today. I'm in my workout clothes. It's like I said, it's been a crazy morning. I have been nourishing my home and my life today from the moment I woke up. And I'm really happy to be here to share with you one of the ways that I love to do that. My name is Elizabeth Smithson, and I teach how to live a nourished life. And we do that first and foremost with nutrition. And I have 7 habits of a nourished life, and one of the most key components of that is staying well hydrated and adding superfoods to our bodies. So let me show you one of the ways that I do that. All right, so I've got this beautiful display here of all of these amazing fruits and herbs. One of the things that I love to add is more than just fruit. So there are keys to making your waters really good. One of the things that I tried when I first tried was just throwing some blueberries in. And funny enough, blueberries actually don't flavor water that much. Unless you want to smash them against the glass and then let them infuse. Huckleberries actually do a better job than blueberries do. So if you ever get some of those fabulous wild huckleberries, they do really well. So there are some fun things that you can do in order to really flavor the water. There are tricks, I guess, or hacks that you can do in order to do that. To use fresh herbs and fresh fruit. So you can use frozen if that's what you have. I wouldn't use dried herbs, that probably won't work as well. But you can use frozen fruit, but the frozen tends to kind of break apart or disintegrate a little bit more in the water, which is fine if you don't mind that, but they don't have quite as much flavor as the fresh. So if you really want an infused flavor, then I would go with the fresh fruits and the fresh vegetables. Okay, so the longer they're in the water, kind of obvious, but the longer they're in the water, the more flavor you're gonna get from them. So it's going to take about 2 hours for you to be able to really start to notice the flavor combinations and the flavors that have eked into the water. And so you wanna make sure you've got enough time, and you can totally put it in your jars and let them go overnight. So if you are putting citrus in, so we're going to be putting in like some, we've got some lime, I've got some oranges. I was going to do some grapefruit, but I forgot to grab it out of the fridge, and I think I've got plenty here to show you. So if you're doing citrus, they actually start to turn bitter. That if you leave the rinds on them, they'll start to turn bitter after about 4 hours, between 4 and 5 hours. So you really want to make sure that you remove the citrus from your water after about 4 hours. The best flavor comes though when you're at the 6 to 8 hour mark. After about 8 hours, you've probably gotten as much flavor out of your fruits and vegetables in your water that you're going to get. But you want to make sure that you remove, like I said, remove the citrus. And then the other trick is if you put them on the counter to infuse, you're welcome to do that, and then you can drink them after 2 hours. However, if you're not going to drink them after 2 hours, then I recommend putting them in the fridge, because it will tend to want to encourage bacteria and things like that to grow. And so you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you protect your infused water and put it in the fridge after it's been sitting for about 2 hours. The other thing that you don't want to do is add hot water. A lot of times you think, well, if I add hot water, it'll really infuse that. Well, what happens is you're killing the enzymes that are in those fruits and vegetables and some of the vitamins. And we want to make sure that we're getting all of that nourishment from the infusion. So make sure that you only use room temperature water. You can use cold water too, or like I said, you can use frozen fruit, but I prefer to use room temperature water. So let's start putting some together. I'm going to start showing you some different flavor combinations that are really kind of unique and fun. So the first one I'm going to show you is orange fennel. I wanted to show you that I've actually sliced these very thin. Can you see how thinly that's sliced? They are very, very thinly sliced. And so another one of the tricks when you're doing this, especially with the harder fruits like pears and apples, if your peaches are harder, any kind of a harder fruit, you're gonna wanna make sure you really slice them super, super thin. If you're using kind of the softer fruits like berries and kiwi and so forth, then they can be a little bit thicker, but the thinner you slice your fruit, the more it infuses in the water. So I'm gonna grab my jar here. I've got my jars ready to go. And so I'm actually adding about 2/3 of an orange that I have sliced super thin. Of course, when I was chopping it on my chopping block, my board here, of course you're gonna get juices on your board. So don't be afraid to just pour that off your board and right into your water, into your jar. Okay, so fennel. Fennel is such a fresh herb, and I love adding fennel to my smoothies. A lot of times will add them to my hot soups in the wintertime. Fennel and lentil soup is really, really good. So I have already washed all of these. You want to make sure that you're washing your herbs. Try to get organic if you can, because you don't want pesticides or herbicides or manures or anything like that on your food. So make sure, if you possibly can, to try to get organic, and then make sure you rinse and wash off your herbs. So all of this has been washed and dried and ready to go for today. So this is your fennel stalk. I'm not doing the bulb section of it. I'm just going to do the stalk, but I'm definitely going to use all these little fronds, and I'm going to chop it again super thin. And so I'm just going to move my little watermelon here for a minute. Going to show you how I'm just going to chop super, super thin all the way down, and we're going to try to put as much of this into the jar as possible. Oh, I can smell it. Oh, it's got that fabulous fresh smell. I don't know if you like this taste of licorice, but some people think that fennel tastes and smells like licorice. It does a little bit to me, but I just think it's a great fresh flavor. All right, so I'm gonna add all of that, if I can, to my jar, and that is it. All right. Rinse that off for the next one. Okay, so this is just fennel and orange, and again, I sliced it super thin. And now I'm gonna add not super cold and definitely not hot, and I'm just gonna fill up my jar with water. we go, nice to the tip top. All right, and I also have these lids that I put on my jar. These are the reusable lids for mason jars, and you obviously can find pretty containers, or you can have pretty glass pitchers that you could fill up. Any glass will do. I prefer to use glass. So here is our fennel orange ready to go. All right, so the next one I was gonna do is mango basil. So oftentimes when you think of the traditional fruits and herbs and stuff that you put together, you always think apple cinnamon, right? Well, or apple basil. So what could I add with basil that would be a little different than what we normally do? So today I am adding basil and mango, and it is such a great combination. So I've already chopped up, I've got about 2/3 of a cup of mango. So I'm gonna grab again my jar, and we're gonna put my chopped up mango in the jar. Now, the more fruits you use, the more herbs you use, definitely the stronger the flavor. Another trick, another hack that I want to show you is when you add the herb portion, if you're going to add herbs, and I'm trying to add herbs to most of these because I really wanted to show you how fun it is to mix the herbs with. When you add the herbs, try to kind of smash it just a little bit and twist it. It won't be quite as pretty in your jar, but what it's going to do is release the essential oils and all of that fabulous flavors from the herbs when you do that. You can kind of roll it on your cutting board and get it going and get it to where and you'll start to see it on your cutting board, you'll see it turn a little green. And so by doing that, again, you're releasing those essential oils from the herbs, and you're gonna get a much better infusion. So we're gonna add that basil. Oh, that smells so good. You know I love the smell of basil. Okay, there is our mango basil. All right, the next one we're gonna do is a raspberry lime thyme. So this one, again, super easy. I'm gonna grab my jar, and I have a piece of fennel here that escaped. Put that in there. You can give it a little shake every once in a while to keep it going. All right, so we're going to add some fresh raspberries. Again, I have about 2/3 to 3/4 cup of raspberries. Okay, here is my limes that I sliced. Again, I'm going to show you. I sliced them super, super thin. You can practically see through them. So I'm putting in a whole lime because I've got a whole quart jar. And then the thyme, again, I washed these already, but I'm going to put in the whole stalk, everything, and I'm just going to kind of rub it in my fingers here before I put it in, again, to release those essential oils. All right, so we have raspberry lime thyme. That's gonna be so good. There we are. Yum. Oh, they look so pretty already. We're looking gorgeous. Next, we're going to do a watermelon mint. And that's pretty traditional. You've probably heard of that one before. So when you get watermelon, first of all, the seedless watermelons tend to have less flavor. So go ahead and get these big, huge melons that have all the black seeds. Don't worry about the seeds. You're gonna have more flavor if you get the big, big ones. Okay, the next thing is, where do you find most of the flavor in a watermelon? It's in the very heart of it, the very center. So use a baller, a melon baller, or chop it up and use that center portion of the watermelon to add to your water. And then you're going to get a lot more flavor from that watermelon. Again, I'm going to add about 2/3 to 3/4 of a cup of fruit to my 1 quart jar. That watermelon juice in, isn't that great? All right, so watermelon, and then here's my mint. Again, it's already washed and everything ready to go, so I'm just gonna rub it between my hands. Ooh, it smells so good. I love fresh herbs. Okay, there is our mint. Isn't that pretty? Oh, that looks so pretty with those fun little balls and the mint. Cherry ginger. So I have these beautiful cherries. It's cherry season, I love it. I'm not gonna worry about taking the seeds out. I'm gonna take these stems off, and like I said, I've already rinsed them. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to cut them in half. You twist it to get them in half and just put them in, and I'm not even worrying about the seed. And I'm just going to put in about, maybe 20 or 25 cherries in my water. So I'm just gonna very thinly slice. Again, remember, the thinner you slice it, almost paper thin, the thinner you slice it, the more it's going to allow the water to permeate it and infuse the flavor into the water. This is a really big piece of ginger. This is about a good thumb size. So I'm gonna put maybe not quite all of that in there because it smells really strong. Oh, that's gonna be really good. Okay, cherry ginger. Okay, let's do the last one I'm gonna do for today, and that is going to be a cucumber kiwi. I have the 2 different kinds of kiwis. We're going to use the green kiwi and the golden kiwi. And again, I've sliced the golden kiwi super, super thin, paper thin, because I really want to bring out the flavor of the kiwi. So I'm going to use both kiwis because they both have a little different flavor, and they're both going to add so much to our flavor infused water. And then we're going to add cucumber. Super, super thin, paper thin slice. You do not have to take the cover off of, take the peel off. You can just slice it super thin and put that cucumber right in here. So let's add the water. Well, I am so happy to share with you all of these wonderful infused waters, and get creative. Some of the ones that I didn't do today was like grapefruit and rosemary. So I had this fresh rosemary. Oh, again, I love that smell. I'm excited to try this. I actually haven't tried grapefruit and rosemary, and so that was a new one that I wanted to try. So I'm gonna definitely go find my grapefruit in the fridge when we're done, and I'm gonna put together that one, and I'll let you know in the comments what I thought. But pear is another great one to add to water. Pear adds a lot of sweetness, natural sweetness, and it's really, really good in water. A peach would be delicious. Maybe even strawberry banana. Strawberry banana would be a great infused water. So get creative, enjoy your water, and make sure you stay hydrated.